Man, Dylan O'Brien just can't catch a break. First it was the scorched earth in the Maze Runner movies, now it's some big ass fucking cockroaches. Can we get this guy a happy-go-lucky rom-com or something? Lovin' Monsters is brought to us by director Michael Matthews and stars Dylan O'Brien as Joel. Joel's not having a very good time at it because he lives in a post-apocalyptic wasteland underground so that he can hide from the big, huge, mutated monsters that live on the surface. You see, we apparently went and did it. We nuked some shit and all the radiation came down and all the cold-blooded creatures on the earth became these mutated monstrosities and then proceeded to wipe out 95% of humanity on Earth. The remaining 5% of the population retreated underground where they live scavenging for scraps just to barely make it by. For the past 7 years since the event, Joel has lived underground in a small community. Recently though, through communicating with other communities via radio, he finds that his girlfriend, who he thought was lost, is actually alive about 85 miles away in another community. So one day he decides to pack up and head that way and reclaim his long lost love. But there's a problem. You see, Joel's not really that heroic. In fact, Joel's pretty damn scared of anything. Every time he's confronted with one of these creatures, he just locks up and freezes. So you can see how this presents a problem with him going up to the surface and battling through all the huge, ginormous, mutated monsters to go 85 miles across the country to his long-lost love. But he doesn't care. He's heading out anyway, and he's doing it for love and monsters. This movie was pretty damn fun, and not only was it fun, but it was pretty damn funny too. It has a great mix of action, comedy, and adventure with a healthy dose of heart thrown in there for good measure. The story's really entertaining and fresh, and it's populated with some fantastic characters. There's some really exciting moments in this film, and it has a very lean pace. There's not a lot of fat or useless time here. There's always something happening. This story is always moving forward. It is very focused on its goal, but not so much as to where it feels rushed. The movie seems to spend just the right amount of time in any given place at any given time. I wasn't like looking at my watch waiting for Joel to leave his beginning destination, or when he was on his adventure, I wasn't just waiting for him to get to his destination, or when he got to his destination, I wasn't just like looking at my watch waiting for something to happen. No, something was always going on. And a lot of that has to do with the great characters that populate this world. First and foremost would be O'Brien himself. He does a wonderful job here and is very likable, relatable, and charismatic all at the same time. I thought this back when I saw him in the Maze Runner movies, that this guy is going to be a star. Unfortunately, he did have that big accident on the last Maze Runner film that did kind of put him on hiatus for a few years. But he came back in full swing and the guy has still got it. He has an absolutely fantastic natural charisma about him. You just can't help but like this character because of O'Brien's performance. And one of the other main characters in the movie that put on a fantastic performance that you're just not expecting would be O'Brien's dog, Boy. Yes, the dog is an absolutely fantastic character in this movie. In fact, I would go as far as to say that you connect more with this dog in this movie than you do with central characters in some other movie. This dog is implemented wonderfully in this movie. And while he's not like some Disney-esque talking dog or anything, he's just a regular old dog. He definitely has a personality all to himself. You totally care about these characters. You don't want anything bad to happen to them. And when they're put into positions of peril, which they are quite often, you really do feel it. You're worried. You don't want anything bad to happen to them. You want them to get out of it. You want them to make it. You want them to get to their end goal safely. Also, it's a movie with a fucking dog that you come attached to, and we know how that usually turns out. So you've got that looming over your head the whole fucking time. It's really fucking stressful. Kill a whole bunch of the other characters, but don't you dare fucking touch Boy. We have some great performances from all our side characters as well, most notably Michael Rooker as Clyde and Ariana Greenblatt, aka Little Gamora, as Minnow. These two characters are wonderfully thought out, written, performed, and utilized here. Rooker as the gruff mountain man survivalist with the little girl that he's taken under his wing is fantastic here. And Greenblatt as Minnow is probably one of the cutest goddamn things you've seen all year. It was a joy seeing these characters all on screen together, and the chemistry they had amongst themselves was absolutely fantastic. Overall, the performances as a whole are absolutely great. Now, this is a movie called Lovin' Monsters, and it's post-apocalyptic, and you know there's a whole bunch of big monsters, so you're expecting some special effects. And you get those special effects, but thankfully, while yes, they do use quite a bit of CGI, it seems like they used practical effects where they could. Most of the creatures are more CGI with maybe a few practical elements to them, but everything else in the movie looked as if it was practical. And if it wasn't practical, it looked really damn good and extremely convincing, and I couldn't tell. The locations here are all varied and really cool looking, and the creature designs are all based on familiar things, but just different enough to look really fucking creepy. And even though a fair amount of these creatures are CGI, it is all really good looking CGI. This is not a cheap looking movie. I don't know exactly how much the budget was, but I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that it wasn't a small budget, because this movie looks really good. Guys, at the end of the day, Love and Monsters was a fantastic ride that I had an absolutely wonderful time with. It had a great, exciting original story that was laced with wonderful humor throughout. A great pace that made the movie feel like it flew by in no time at all, some absolutely fantastic performances all around, and was overall just a really good fucking movie, man. And because of that, Love and Monsters is absolutely worth a buy.
Do it! Do it!
Show me the money!
Do it!
You motherfucker!
So,
Show me the money!
do it!
This was absolutely one of the best movies of the year so far. And I wasn't expecting it to be. I wasn't necessarily expecting it to be bad, but I was not expecting this movie to be as good as it was. Sure, the trailer looked great, but how many times have we seen a great looking trailer that just ended up kind of being okay? I was hoping for at best an okay ride for the night, but what I got was an extremely exciting, entertaining flick that I want to go and watch again right now. So if you're looking for a really good, fresh adventure for the night, check out Love and Monsters and you will not be disappointed. So there it is, guys, my review of Love and Monsters. If you enjoyed, want more content like this, hit that subscribe button and help my little channel grow. If you liked what I had to say, give me a like. If not, let me know in the comments below why. And as always, stay sexy, Fairview.
That was awesome. Oh, I feel like Tom Cruise.
I don't know if the movie necessarily needs it, but I had such a good time with this movie and the characters and the world that I really want a sequel. And they did kind of leave it open to where you could have a sequel to this movie. I don't really know what the sequel would be or if it would even be worth exploring, but I do know that I want to spend some more time in this world with these wonderful characters. It just sounds like a great proposition that if they do it, they'll probably just fuck it all up. I'm gonna remain optimistic though that if this movie is successful, maybe they'll actually put the same people in charge and make something just as magical the second time around. Cautiously optimistic. We'll go with that. Don't you dare fucking touch boy.